Sony is currently under investigation by the United States government for some shady business dealings. At least, that's what people on the internet keep claiming. Now, I want to talk about the fake news and what's actually going on, because the real story to me is more interesting than the lies that people are trying to spread. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Now, obviously, the last couple of years have been very bonkers when it comes to business deals inside the gaming world. The entire industry continues to freaking explode. The fact that people have had lockdowns and have been stuck playing games indoors, I think that sort of helps it, but also Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo seem to be trying to expand their power, expand their reach, making bigger exclusive games, bigger marketing deals. I don't think video games have ever been so freaking mainstream and so talked about. But what's going on right now over the course of this recent time period is lots of acquisitions. Everybody is buying everything that's not nailed down if it has a price tag on it. But obviously just a couple months back, there was this big $3.6 billion deal of Bungie getting bought by Sony. But here's what's funny is that right now the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has started to look into it. But where the debate seems to be happening is whether the United States government could legally block this, even if they wanted to, and would they want to? But let's check out why. Sony is trying to buy the developer Bungie, the people who make the Destiny. This is a $3.6 billion deal announced in January and comes at a time when the FTC has taken a more aggressive stance toward big tech mergers. Now, part of this entire story sort of revolves around this. Right now, companies keep trying to change these enormous sums of money. Like, truly consider this beyond all else. Like, we're in the gaming world, so we sort of think of things through the scope of the console wars and stuff, but really just take that big step back and consider the fact that Facebook and freaking Twitter and stuff are selling and buying stuff for tens of billions, if so, sometimes like hundreds of billions of dollars. The United States government is not particularly liking that. They think that there's something shady that could easily happen, and they wouldn't be able to stop it. Well, what's been happening is that right now, the FTC is sort of investigating all of these big mergers inside of the gaming industry to make sure they don't violate antitrust law. Basically, everybody in America is obsessed with the free market, the fact that things need to fight fair. If you make the best product, or in this case, the best game, you deserve to make the best money, right? That's pretty obvious. But what they're trying to stop is unfair business practices. If theoretically Microsoft bought every single other studio, then there's no games to play. There's no games to buy. You have to play on Xbox, which to the United States government, that's not fair. Now, what sort of really began this entire series of investigations and sort of political skepticism, it kind of came down to Microsoft buying ZeniMax and Bethesda just a couple years ago. Now, that deal was completed in March of 2021. That was a very, very, very bonkers freaking transaction. Truly just think about the fact that right now, every Bethesda game is all under one big umbrella. So Elder Scrolls, Fallout, even stuff that people don't consider, like Doom is a Bethesda product, Wolfenstein, everything. It just goes on and on and on. Those are all officially Xbox exclusive titles. Now, when you think about it, to a government entity who's trying to investigate this, they're probably starting to think, okay, is Microsoft fighting fair? Were they able to scoop up this huge chunk of the entire business? Can people still fight back with their own games, their own products? Well, I think that this is what's sort of happening now is with this $70 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard currently taking place, I think the government is basically just saying, let's be careful. Don't just give this a green light. Don't just stamp it and say it's okay. Everybody is trying to make sure that this is still fair, even if the Bungie deal is so much smaller. Additionally, consider the fact that Sony has officially said that they want to make sure that Bungie stays an independent subsidiary. So it seems like they want them to be like a third-party studio. They're going to make stuff on all platforms, but Sony gets to keep all that delicious profit. Now, I have seen a very strange amount of Sony fanboys actually getting very downright mad about this investigation, but I don't think it's really a big deal. Like, the fact that this is happening, I think this is sort of just what the government is considering to be more natural fairness. Like, okay, we're investigating the actions of Microsoft, let's investigate the actions of Sony. Okay, there's this big transaction happening, let's look at this big transaction. Like, this is still billions and billions of dollars changing hands. I've seen some people say that it's actually pretty customary for the government to sort of approve any business deal over like $100 million, which to me makes sense because this is some very, very big power that's changing hands. Now, to me personally, this seems like such a good sign. Now, you guys can tell me in the comments if you disagree, but my whole thing is that competition creates the best product for the customer. If there's a bunch of YouTube videos, I have to try and make the very best YouTube video so I rise to the top. If it comes to video games, more competition, more pressure, more intensity to try and sell the greatest product creates better video games. Yes, that's right. I still think that even the United States government sort of making sure that people have to play fair, to make sure people have to fight. I love that the most. I'm going to say something a little bit anti-Disney. I feel like some corporations inside of the movie industry already have way too much power. The fact that right now there's like 70 different showings of freaking Doctor Strange on every single freaking theater in the world right now. I'm not even hating on Doctor Strange, but I am just saying that right now Disney has more power than every other freaking studio in Hollywood combined. In fact, Disney owns multiple tinier studios. They own other companies and stuff that make the movies. It all goes into one big bank account. And I am afraid of that ever happening inside the gaming industry. I like that Nintendo's making stuff over here like freaking Kirby and Pokemon, and then over here we have Sony trying to make single-player, narrative-driven experiences, and then Microsoft is here doing like first-person shooters and trying to make advanced online games that fit with Game Pass. Everybody is staying on their own. Everybody's trying to copy off each other's homework. Everybody is trying to make good games and hopefully get your good dollars. This just seems like good news. I know that some people are kind of just being like, oh my God, I can't believe you're investigating Sony. This is a positive action. This is keeping the fair field fair. I don't think Sony could get blocked. I don't think anybody's going to even try and block this. Jeff Grubb talked about this. Someone said, there is quite literally absolutely no way the Sony acquisition of Bungie doesn't get approved. Now, Jeff Grubb says, FTC absolutely has the power to screw up deals, but to me, the headline should probably be, the Justice Department continues to ignore gaming acquisitions. That's probably correct. They're going to approve this. It's going to go through. Bungie is pretty much bought and paid for already. It's just a matter of waiting for that freaking ink to dry on the contract. This is just a typical story seeping out as we wait for while we wait for more games to actually play. But what do you think about this? Is this a positive change? Is this a negative change? Or do you just not care a single poopy? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a giant thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But please do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Video games! Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.